Wake up, Saints fans, because the ground underneath the Superdome is shaking violently today. We are staring at a franchise-altering offseason that could strip this roster down to the absolute studs or reload it for one desperate final run. I am talking about legendary names potentially walking out the door, a massive financial crisis looming over our heads that threatens to paralyze the organization, and a draft pick that defines our entire future. We are digging deep into the chaos today, but before we break the seal on these exclusive reports, I need you to step up. We are pushing hard for 1,000 subscribers, and we need every single member of the Who Dat Nation to hit that button right now. Let's get to work.
Sources around the league are buzzing with a rumor that could shake the foundation of the New Orleans Saints. Insider reports suggest a potential blockbuster trade is being discussed, where the Saints would send a 5-time Pro Bowler directly to the Denver Broncos. The logic from a front office perspective is clear and cold-blooded. The move is designed to acquire draft capital and clear significant salary cap space, allowing the team to rejuvenate a roster that has grown old and expensive. When you look at the connection, it makes too much sense. Sean Payton is in Denver. He knows these players. He drafted these players. He built the culture that this 5-time Pro Bowler represents. But let me switch gears and tell you what this really means. This is not just a trade. This is an identity crisis. You are talking about taking one of the most decorated players in franchise history, a man who has bled for this city, and shipping him off to the Rocky Mountains for lottery tickets in the draft. It is absolutely blasphemous to think that this team can get better by subtracting its best talent. How do you look a fan in the face and say you are trying to win when you are actively discussing sending your stars away? This is the definition of a fire sale disguised as a strategic retooling. If this trade goes through, it signals the official end of an era. It tells every player in that locker room that nobody is safe, and that the loyalty of the past means nothing against the cold hard math of the salary cap. The Broncos are looking to buy a culture, and the Saints are apparently willing to sell theirs to the highest bidder. It is a dangerous game to play with the psyche of a locker room. You trade away a 5-time Pro Bowler, and you rip the heart out of the team. But here is the reality we have to face. The Saints might not have a choice. The roster is aging, the speed is lacking, and the results have been mediocre at best. Maybe it's time to rip the Band-Aid off. Maybe it's time to hurt now so we can heal later. But frankly, the pain of seeing a Saints legend in a Broncos jersey might be too much for this city to stomach. This is the kind of move that gets general managers fired if it goes wrong, and it is the kind of move that haunts a franchise for a decade if they don't hit on the draft picks they get in return. Speaking of draft picks, if we do pull the trigger on this massive trade, the pressure on our draft strategy becomes unbearable, because you simply cannot trade a Hall of Fame caliber talent and then miss on the replacement. That leads us directly to the war room, because what the Saints are planning to do with their top pick is becoming the most heated debate in the entire NFL.
Listen, the rumors are flying faster than we can catch them, but we are right here tracking every single move. If you want to keep getting exclusive insights like this and stay ahead of the national media, subscribe now. Do not miss out.
Today, February 23rd, the New Orleans Saints official site confirmed that the entire organization has shifted its focus to the NFL scouting combine with a laser-like intensity on the number 8 overall pick. This is not just another draft. This is the lifeline for the franchise. The debates inside the building are heating up, and the primary conflict is between selecting a traditional wide receiver to boost the offense or taking a massive swing on a dynamic playmaker like Jordan Tyson. Let's look at the facts. The Saints' offense has been stagnant, predictable, and frankly, boring. They need electricity. They need a player who can turn a 5-yard slant into a 70-yard touchdown. The combine is where these questions get answered. Scouts are going to be scrutinizing 40-yard dash times, cone drills, and interview sessions to see who has the mental makeup to handle the pressure of the Superdome. But let me tell you what I think. If the Saints play it safe at number 8, they are failing the fan base. You do not draft at number 8 to get a solid starter. You draft at number 8 to get a superstar. The mention of Jordan Tyson is intriguing because it represents a shift in philosophy. It shows a willingness to look for raw, explosive traits over polished, safe production. But here is the problem with potential. It gets people fired. If you draft a guy like Tyson and he turns out to be a bust, the front office is packing their bags. However, looking at the wide receiver market, the Saints are desperate. They need someone who can separate, someone who can demand double coverage, and someone who can make the quarterback's life easier. The combine is going to be the battleground where these evaluations are finalized.
Every single drill matters. Every single medical check matters. The Saints cannot afford to miss. They have missed too often in the mid-rounds, and now that they are back in the top 10, perfection is the only acceptable standard. The intrigue around this pick is skyrocketing because it tells us what the team thinks of their current roster. If they go offense, they believe they can score their way to wins. If they trade back or go defense, they are admitting a longer rebuild. But quite frankly, I don't care about the strategy if the execution is flawless. We need a playmaker, plain and simple. Whether it is a top-tier receiver or a hybrid weapon, the person selected at number 8 must be a day-one starter. There is no room for development projects when the fans are starving for wins. But even if we nail this pick, even if we find the next Jerry Rice or Randy Moss, it might not matter at all if the front office cannot solve the absolute financial nightmare that is strangling this team right now.
This Monday, February 23rd, reports have surfaced indicating that the New Orleans Saints are facing a financial catastrophe that makes the other stories look like child play. We are talking about a $65 million hole in the salary cap. Let me repeat that number so it sinks in. $65 million over the limit. This is not a clerical error. This is the bill coming due for years of kicking the can down the road. The report specifically indicates that this impact is caused by 4 veteran contracts, including the deal of Alvin Kamara. We are now at the breaking point. For years, the Saints have operated with a credit card mentality, restructuring deals, adding void years, and pushing money into the future to keep a competitive window open that quite frankly slammed shut years ago. Now, the future is here, and it is ugly. To get under the cap by the start of the new league year, the Saints are going to have to make decisions that will hurt. We are talking about restructuring contracts, which only delays the inevitable pain. Or worse, cutting veteran leaders who have been the face of this franchise. Imagine the locker room when they see captains being released simply because the math doesn't work. It is demoralizing, it is embarrassing, and it is entirely self-inflicted. Management has backed themselves into a corner where they have zero leverage. Every agent in the league knows the Saints are desperate. Every other GM knows the Saints have to shed salary. That means we are going to get lowballed in trades and forced to make cuts that strengthen our rivals. The situation with Alvin Kamara is particularly volatile. He is the engine of the offense, but his cap hit is an anchor. Do you extend him and push more money to the future? Or do you cut him and eat the dead money, effectively admitting that the 2026 season is a wash before it even begins? This is the reality of the NFL. It is a business first, and the Saints have managed their business poorly. The $65 million deficit is a chain around the neck of this organization, dragging it to the bottom of the NFC South. Unless they perform a miracle, this team is going to be handcuffed in free agency, unable to sign anyone of significance, and forced to rely entirely on rookies to fill massive holes. The domino effect of this financial crisis touches everything. It affects the trade rumors we talked about, it affects the draft strategy, it affects the win-loss column. We are witnessing a pivotal moment, where the Saints must decide if they are going to take their medicine and rebuild properly, or continue this delusional path of financial gymnastics that leads nowhere.
This is the most decisive moment in the last decade of Saints football. We have trade rumors threatening to send our best players to Denver, a draft pick at number 8 that carries the weight of the world, and a $65 million debt that threatens to sink the ship. The front office is on the clock, and the margin for error is zero. I want to hear from you. Would you trade the 5-time Pro Bowler to clear the books? And who do you want at pick number 8? Let's fight it out in the comment section. We are in this together, Who Dat Nation. Stay strong.